It is my great privilege to address the Asian Philosophy Conference and 95th session of the Indian Philosophical Congress. The theme of the 95th session is freedom and responsibility. Of course, before starting the talking, I just happened the chance to release this book. And in the back page of this presently released book is mentioned about the climate change. And this will be related with this topic, that is freedom and the responsibility. Freedom and responsibility is an exercise in self-awareness and self-realizations by a thoughtful human mind with regard to a very problematic but highly significant enigma of human life concerning an antinomy of freedom and determinism experience in our day-to-day living in the context of human behavior due to fragmented approach to life and reality, and the need for the management of the same in a holistic framework. In this endeavor, we may derive helpful guidance and redemption from the deep insight and enlightening visions of Indian seers and sages. In a meaningful enterprise, the entire wide and variegated reality is to be kept in view with the main focus on human exercise or human existence. It has to be a holistic reflection from varied perspectives and multiple approaches. It has to be done with the objective of being benefited by it in shaping the cosmic and human existence of universal well-being. Naturally, therefore, the individual human existence, human society, natural environment, scientific and technological enterprises, and socio-political organization, etc., become crucial point in a purposeful deliberations. Consideration of deeper issues concerning this area provides it a practical orientation in the context of human life planning, social engineering, science, policy, and environmental stewardship. Human being is the highest emergent in the cosmic process so far, shaped by genetic endowment, ecological interactions, and cultural transformations. Human existence is multiracial, multidimensional, and multi-layered. It has individual, social, and cosmic aspects in a holistic and organic framework. It is immensely related with nature, other than being a non-human living species. Human identity, therefore, cannot be determined by any one of these factors alone in isolation from others. It is constituted by the totality and integrate unity of all of them. Human being is, ideally speaking, ratiocinematic, goal-oriented, free and responsible agent. He or she is a knower, responsible agent, and enjoyer through innate competence and overt performance. As a self-conscious and reflective person, he or she has the capacity to understand one's own self as also others. The term used in Indian culture for such a human being is Purusha, and his or her plan, purposive and methodical action in terms as Purushartha. As a knower, human being is endowed with the capacity to know, to discriminate, and to form judgment. He or she has freedom of will and can make a choice. He or she is also a responsible agent and has to be accountable for his or her action. The free will is regulated will. All his or her willful action should therefore be in the form of Purushartha. He has to perform action with full knowledge, freedom, and responsibility. They should be in the form of Artha and not Anartha. Activity is the law of life, and every human being must act as a Purusha, or Purusha for survival, sustenance, and for enhancement of quality of life. So, there is inclusive alternation between freedom and determinations or determinism. Rationality as discriminative ability implies freedom to choose, but being guided by certain norms. It is also implies responsibility for the consequences so generated by one's action. The point is that we have to avoid dichotomous approach to freedom and determinations. Human life is unique and special gift which is real among all creatures. It is a prize possession acquired through a good deal of meritorious act in the previous birth. It is valuable and is to be valued. A mechanistic understanding of human nature is truncated and cannot explain the spontaneity, creativity, and global organization inherent in human nature. Only a theological, holistic, and inclusive understanding of human potentialities, capabilities, and achievement can do justice to human appreciations or human aspirations. The knowledge and quest for values and plan effort to realize them constitute the core of ideal human life. All human beings must participate or made to participate in the process of value realization. This is our universal responsibility. Activity is the law of life, and every human being has to act for survival, for sustenance, and for enhancement of quality of life. So, human conduct has to be theological and goal-oriented. In the choice of conduct, there is freedom and also regulation of free will. There is inclusive alternation between freedom and determinism. Rationality and discriminative ability implies freedom to choose, but being guided by certain norms. It is also implies responsibility for the consequences so generated by one's actions. Freedom to choose means availability of alternative to of for which is good, right and conducive to well-being, or to opt for that which is bad, wrong, and harmful to well-being. A human being can act in either of the two ways, but he has to be responsible for that action. These determinations and choice of alternatives requires norm prescription by human freedom, also implies a scope for both norm adherence from and adherence and norm violations. In this context, ethical considerations become meaningful since they tell us about the rules and regulations to be adhered to and prohibition to be avoided, values to be pursued, and these values to be shunned are both equally central to moral considerations. In ethical context, values are termed as virtues, and this reaction between values and the virtues should be kept in mind. Education is a conscious, deliberate, and planned process of modification in the natural growth and development of human being and the surroundings. If proper and adequate, it ensures accelerate processes of development of human life in right rhythms. It is therefore a means for betterment and enhancement of quality of life. It is useful for the personality development, character building, and for livelihood. It is a hallmark of civil society, but all this become utopia if it is not properly conceived and implemented. Before concluding, I would also like to reflect some of the points focused by our respected professor from the dais. Particularly, philosophy is a subject, is a mother of all subjects, but the popularity of the subject is a bit dwindled. I think this will be answered by Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university, but my loud thinking is that why we are not able to discuss this matter on such platform like Indian Philosophical Congress, why our subject philosophy is not popular, what are the reasons behind it, and why we are not able to make it popular and choice of the generation. So these are two certain points which I humbly request all the scholars of the philosophy to think on it and make the subject more popular, more accommodable to the people. And these days, perhaps G20 presidency is owned by India and received by our Honorable Prime Minister. And he said, on the day of the formal reception of that chairmanship, he said, one earth one family, and one future. So this saying can be applied to all approach of our life. And also even today's book cited about the global climate change and its impact. So if we have the theme as described by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, he said, one earth, one family, one future. So to survive the human being conducively, we need to protect our natural environment. And this natural protection of natural environment is the right, and the duty of ourselves. That means the whole citizen of this globe has the responsibility to bring an amicable situation to arrest the effect of the climate changes by ourselves. With these few words, once again, I'm very happy to be here in this philosophical Congress and the Asian Philosophical Conference. Though I'm not a man of philosophy, but some of our professors mentioned that PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. So the word PhD is with me. That's why I'm able to join this function. So with these few words, once again, I hope this year 22 is going to end, and we are hoping for a new year 2023. As the new years come, I wishes all of you the best wishes to the coming new years, as well as all the philosophers, all the scholars of this subject, be with a new hopes, with a more prosperous and more progressive Congress should be held in the near future. Jai Hind.